Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So I saw this article, was it on Friday? I'm like, wow, this is something I have to make a video on. It's from Nerdist.com. So I used to really like Nerdist, right? I used to really like a lot of things. It seems to me that they totally sold out. They totally sold out a while ago. Yeah, good for them. Good for them. Somebody backs up a truck of money into your living room. What was it? Chris Hardwick, I think was that the guy's name? Fine, whatever. But they got this article saying Doctor Who explores the rich complexity of asexuality. So I'm a bit of an old fogey. And asexuality, as I understand it, is people that have no sexual drive or attraction to anyone. To me, that sounds like mental ill health, right? And I'm not saying it is. I want to be clear. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not denying anybody's existence. It doesn't sound good. It's like somebody says, my eyes don't work. It seems to be a very important part of one's being, a part of being, one's sexuality is part of being, a human, and this doesn't sound very good. I mean, this just doesn't sound very good at all. But I haven't read the article. I'm going to go into it with no one. I want to see if they can explain it to me, because I don't understand. But my prejudice going in, it's always good to be honest with yourself about your own prejudice, whatever. My prejudice going in is this is probably going to be an article to try and justify and encourage mental ill health, which I think is going to have terrible results, right? That's my prejudice going. I really hope to be proved wrong, right? I really hope to, I'll give you an example when I was proved wrong, and I quite liked it, I thought proved wrong. At least I understood, right? And so there was an article about 6 months ago about how Captain Kirk was being re-engineered as a gay icon, or was going to be bi, right? And now Captain Kirk to me always seemed very, very straight. So I did a video. No, Captain Kirk is not gay. So then somebody got in touch. Really nice guy, I have to say, really, really lovely kid. Got in touch with me. They were upset because and I said, well, come on the channel and we can talk it out and you can explain it to me. So his point was that one would like to fantasize about straight people who are presented as straight actually being gay. We saw this a couple of days ago. There was an article by Russell Lee Davies talking about Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and saying how much there was quite a bit of erotic fan fiction going on. Again, it's as masturbatory fans that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker are sword fighting and not lightsabers. Yeah, if you get my meaning. But it's still counter to what's presented. So, but that guy's point was, by me being so dogmatic and saying no, it makes it harder for them to fantasize. I don't think that should be the case, quite frankly. It's like I think go with what's clearly presented on screen, right? If somebody's always presented as straight, so say that's why I have to tell you what's that Bond movie? Daniel Craig one. Not Casino Royale, his other good one, Skyfall, right? He's done 4 movies, 2 good, 2 bad. Skyfall, when he finally meets the villain, there's this real homoerotic charge to it, which I thought was really interesting. I thought that was a really clever idea done well. But yeah, this article seems like it's probably trying to convince people to be mentally unhealthy. So let's read it again before we get into it. Can you hit the like button? That'd be freaking awesome. I'm probably not going to like this, but can you hit the like button anyway? Can you hit the share button? Also awesome. Also freaking fantastic. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe is the one. Subscribe is the one that I crave for. I crave for it with a ridiculous amount of, what's the word I would say? Lust. Right, yes. I do lust after your subscription. That is true. Please don't take offense to it, but hit the subscribe button anyway. That'll be very nice. Thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. And you want to be super? Let's go check out my Indiegogo. Right over here, going to have some new pages to show for this shortly. They're coming in now. These are 2 graphic novels. We got Biblical, Bible Stars, Ancient Traitors, Rationalists and Rogues. 220 pages long. Very biblically accurate. Not preachy at all. It's a story, which I think is an accurate rendition of a story from the Bible, but I don't care how you live your life. I'm not trying to preach. Somebody actually got in contact with me saying, look, I'm a pagan, will this be a problem? No, Enjoy. It's a story, just in the same way, in Sandman they did a lot of Greek myths. On Vertigo they had the thing called Greek Street. You don't have to believe in the Greek pantheon to enjoy it. Same thing, absolutely the same thing. And then we got this one, the Imperium, a love letter to Teddy Fancy in the 1960s. It's essentially imagined Doctor Who, James Bond, Emmett Till, a monkey in the spacesuit, and the Black Slab from 2001, bit of Prisoner thrown in, bit of Thunderbird. So a fun time as had by all. This is 105 pages long. Go check it out right now. There's a ton of extras. I do this plug every video. If you want to know the extras, just go and check out the campaign. Fine. Let's have a look at this. Doctor Who explores the rich complexity of asexuality. Ooh. I imagine it's probably complex, but again, it seems to be like having a mental block, not being able to access a something that's integral to human beings, like absolutely integral to human beings. Probably not the best thing, right? Probably not the best thing. So let's see what Lena Barkin has to say. Pride Month is the perfect time to talk about Doctor Who's titular character, the Doctor, and their sexual identity. So you see, when I was growing up, the Doctor didn't have a sexual identity. You know why the Doctor didn't have a sexual identity? Because it was aimed at kids, like 8-year-old boys, basically. It was aimed at 8-year-old boys, and so it did, back in those crazy dark times of the 80s, kids were allowed to not be bombarded with sexuality 24/7. They could be things without sexuality in it. And we quite like. I mean, if you watch other things from the year, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, they do. Yeah, especially Indiana Jones, they do touch on sexuality, especially in Temple of Doom. But it's kind of like, because that's what the hero does. It was still treated like icky cooties, right? So that's something that may have been lost in today's world. So I'm trying to talk about the Doctor and their sexual identity. A growing number of fans read the Doctor as asexual, also known as ace. Now again, I don't understand this mental ill health given a cool name. But again, please enlighten me. An asexual person typically experiences little to no sexual desire, attraction towards anyone. I get it. I get that exists. I believe it. I'm not sure how all the people I identify as ace, as asexual, really are. I think probably, and again, I'm happy to be wrong about this. I think probably the majority of them are people who are too scared to experience rejection, right? Because I think this whole generation is a generation that can't experience adversity because they don't know it. They were robbed the basic experiences of becoming a human being, which is why they're so terrible at being human beings. They can't live with that other ideas. This is a generation of participation trophies. So I don't think it's worked out well. But anyway, so that's basically my premise. I think this is a way to make yourself feel good about that. And I will tell you, when you're a kid, 16, 17, 8, whatever, you're terrified, right? Like, okay, if you're a younger person, I can speak to boys, right? Because I was a boy, I still am. You don't understand that girls your age, generally speaking, are as equally terrified as you, and what they will respond to more often than not, more than anything else, is you not pandering to your fear. Strength. Strength is attractive. Like, being bravery isn't not being afraid. It's being afraid and going through with doing something anyway, right? So, and I think that's really what bravery is a thing that's lost on this. That's been stolen from this younger generation. Oh, the younger generation! I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think bravery is something that's been stolen from them by the lack of adversity they've been allowed to endure, which is a complete lack of adversity, which is essentially, I think, down to their parents who are unable to experience the pain of seeing their child struggle, right? So and not get everything they want. Which is, again, it's all about weakness. Weakness breeds weakness, strength breeds strength. And because there's so many iterations of the same character, they represent different flavors of the ace spectrum. Now he seems to be shoehorning it in, but okay, listen, I'm trying to have an open mind. I'm not being very successful so far. Each regeneration comes with a new take on the same being. This current one came with a very new take on it. Now the Doctor's a moron. Virtue signaling moron. Oh, okay. And she has a vagina. Okay, so I think being a virtue signaling moron is probably much more of a deviation for the character than having a vagina, right? Having a vagina, bit strange. Each regeneration comes with its own take on being. The way they express themselves varies according to the Doctor's specific personality. It's wonderful through fiction, proof that there is more than one way to be sexy. What? It's wonderful through fiction, proof there is more than one way to be sexy. Well, there is more than one way to be sexy, but you can't prove something with fiction. You can say fiction reflects reality, but you're not what? It's because Star Trek has, the Starship Enterprise has 2 warp nacelles that create a stable warp field. That's not real. that doesn't prove warp theory. Okay, it's all made up. It's all pretend. Okay, okay. Proof there's more than one way to be ace and to be queer. Well, being okay, you just said there's no sexual attraction. So the being ace, it means there is no sexy. Doesn't it? Again, I'm just asking questions. And to be queer, the Doctor, more than anything, is an explorer fundamentally important aspect of queerness. No, I think it's a fundamental aspect of humanity. Everybody has to explore, right? Everybody has to explore. I understand. Most people are straight, right? Most people are straight, so they don't have to explore. Oh, do I like the same sex? Most people don't have to explore that. They kind of know it. They kind of know it straight away. But people again, sexuality is a complicated thing. It's and there's many flavors of it, and I think, and to have a healthy life, especially I think in a marriage, in a long-term relationship, I really recommend as getting to the point where you can be as open and honest with each other about your sexual preferences, which and listen, they don't appeal to one kink normally doesn't appeal to another person unless you happen to hook up with somebody who is into the same stuff as you. Then you get pretty lucky. But most people are reasonably accommodating. I think, look, I'm not really into feet, right? I'm not really into feet. If my loving partner really got off on me licking feet, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I guess, but I'm not really into it, right? But everybody has expression. Honestly, the reason I think there's such a big gay LGBTQ whatever representation in Doctor Who fandom is because the Doctor as a character is somebody who is unafraid to be iconoclastic, is unafraid to be different. And I think Doctor Who really appeals to clever people who are different, right? If you're clever, making you above average, and in academically in school, a lot of these people don't do bad at school because it just doesn't connect to them. That method of teaching. They will be attracted to Doctor Who. They see somebody very successful, being individual and different, right? So I think his embraceness of differentness is a thing that I think people who are different, the reason they gravitate towards it, which is why I think this Doctor is so terrible. This Doctor is such an insane conformist. Like whatever the idiotic idea that's being spread around on Twitter by the Twitterati, which represent a teeny tiny minority of the population. But they represent the vast majority of the news media and the entertainment media. The vast majority are all believe Twitter's real. And then when you ever get an election and it doesn't go the way they told you it was going to go, they're like, how can it be? It must be the Russians. Except when there is clearly, electoral shenanigans, and they're like, nope, kosher as anything, because they're big conformists. Regeneration, expression of aceness, the master relationship. Okay. Sexuality shifts through a person's lifetime? Not really. Not really. I hate to tell you this. Straight people basically remain straight. The thing. Listen. Yeah. Let me. You know what? I'm gonna prove this point with fiction. And I think you'll appreciate that. So here's my Indiegogo. Right. You get a bunch of extras when you buy both books. I can't believe I can do an organic ad. This is great. These extras are all like to a man. All based on my masturbatory fantasies when I was like 13, and they still work today. Nothing's changed, right? Like all this turns me on when I was a kid, turns me on now. You know why? Because I'm a normative heterosexual male, right? Like, look, okay, Nicola Bryant in a bikini by the TARDIS. Now, look, the TARDIS is a personal kink of mine, you know, but Nicola Bryant in heels and a bikini, like a 19-year-old Nicola Bryant in heels and in a bikini, just before she goes to the pool. You know, for me, that does the trick. That does the trick. Yeah, what do you think, Councillor Troy? Are you sensing strong emotions? I bet you are. I bet you're sensing strong emotions. Yeah, no, this hasn't changed. This has remained pretty darn constant throughout my whole life. So, yeah, no, I just proved that from fiction. Sexuality really survives for Time Lords even more so. I mean, again, that premise is ridiculous. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, you sleep with different people in your lifetime, but you still remain basically straight. I mean, like, unless you don't. I mean, look, if you're somebody who wants to try out different things, whatever you want to do, mate. It doesn't do me, but most people are like, yeah, I'm quite happy stooping the thing that I've always stooped, and I don't really want to find something new or different to stoop. I don't want to find a banana or a tangerine. You know, like, I'm quite happy with how I work things out thus far. The way they express the concept changes isn't explicit. Okay, none of the doctors express their sexuality. Excuse me, up until Paul McGann, and that was one kiss, and we all fainted. Like, all of fandom collectively clutched their pearls and fainted at the same time. That's what happened in '96, right? Yeah, he hadn't had any expression on sexuality. No hanky panky in the TARDIS was John Nathan Turner, the producer in the 80s, the very gay producer in the 80s watchword, I think. The way they express sexuality constantly changes. It isn't explicit and can't be fully understood by mere human concepts. Are we talking about Doctor Who or asexuality? I'm like, okay. Although the evolution isn't linear, each Doctor's personality is essentially a response to previous selves. No, you're reading way too much into it. Okay, William Hartnell, like the booze, like the fags, and when I say fags, cigarettes. If you're American, like the booze, like the fags, was nearly dead by 1966. But Doctor Who was doing very well, so they wanted to get a new actor in. They invented rejuvenation. It wasn't even regeneration, rejuvenation. And I like Patrick Troughton. He's interesting casting. Let's bring him in. It wasn't like a reaction. Oh, please, stop it. Stop it. They got the best person they could at the time. Response to the so no, you're talking bollocks. They show each different and unique expression as core values and traits. Again, similarly, almost all the Doctors read as ace. No, they read as somebody who doesn't want to get involved. It reads as a kid's show. Well, we didn't have freaking sexuality in it. But if we want to look at the fiction of it, it reads as a being that lives very long, and so probably isn't into that. Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, this is not okay for a human being with a normative lifespan who's a young person being ace. This article hasn't convinced me it's anything other than mental illness, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that, right? And this is just my opinion. Similarly, almost all Doctors read as ace. However, no two Doctors are the same, nor are their orientations. You just said they're ace. What? I don't understand. You say they're all ace, but they're not all the same orientation. So is ace an orientation? Oh, God, there's so much convoluted insanity in all of this you got to keep up with. God, I can't stand pronouns. Like, it's always really hard. The only way to deal with pronouns is just use the person's name, right? Instead of like, Max Versace. You just use a person's name. Otherwise, it's insane. It gets too hard. Their expression of aceness even fluctuates between different species. Their fraught relationship with other Time Lords, particularly the Master, is barely comparable to their asexuality towards humans. Yeah, well, you mean the Doctor might be into his own species more than not? Okay, that sounds ace, baby. The Doctor is often put at odds with the Master. Did I skip a line? The Doctor put at odds with the Master in a power struggle. Their initial interactions take on a subversive sadomasochistic subtext. No, they don't. You want that? Go watch Blake 7, okay? And they never takes on a subversive sadomasochistic subtext. Citation? Like where? Where do you see this? Freaking weirdo. They don't make a subtext that the modern era made entirely textual. The first female Doctor having to kneel in front of the male Master is an entire bag of cats to unpack. Yeah, no, it's a real simple one, right? Real simple one. Chris Chinwell was a terrible writer who has just done a terrible job with this character and this TV show. Now, see, unpacked it, all done there. But the scene made it clear that the Doctor-Master relationship has always had a sexual undercurrent. No, it hasn't. It's unlike anything that the Doctor experiences with anyone else. They have a deep, long friendship. I mean, you got that through the Capaldi years, but sexual? No. Again, just stop telling me what you think and give me reasons why you think it, right? What you think, show me why you think it. Substantiate it. Asexuality in classic Doctor Who. While new Who Doctors can show repulsion, curiosity, or positivity about sex, classic Doctor Who, the as a whole, didn't have any interest in it. The original run purposely avoids the idea of the Doctor's sexuality and makes it make sense. You know why? You know why the Doctor's straight? I'm going to tell you exactly why the Doctor's straight. Because it was made in a time when we went after the vast majority. If 98% of people are a thing, and we don't say what a character is, we assume he's in that 98%, right? That's why the Doctor was straight. I mean, and again, if you're gay, cool, baby, it's cool. Who cares? The original purposely avoids sexuality, which makes sense because it's originally a children's family show meant for Saturday afternoon tea time. This overall ambiguity extends to the Doctor's origins as well. The revelation of the character as an alien didn't surface until the end of the second Doctor's run. Really? It was on the first episode where Susan explained who they were. They actually changed the dialogue. However, he has always he was always otherworldly with intelligence far beyond the mid-century human. There are so many other things to do, plans to save, that sex isn't interesting enough to warrant any attention. I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't want to throw this out. Let's say I lived as long as the Doctor. A couple of thousand years. Whatever. I think I'll still be horny. I think I would still be horny. Wait, let's get an extra opinion in. What do you think, Princess Leia? Would I still be horny? Yes, you would. Okay, well, listen, this is Doctor Who. We've got to ask Perry. Perry, do you think I'll still be horny? Oh, Rabbi, you're so horny now. Well, and that is true. That is true. Okay, Councillor Troy just came to chime in as well. Listen, Councillor Troy, wait your turn, darling. Wait your turn. Get back on the bus. The revelation of character. So shut up. The revelation that it was a Time Lord didn't come up till the end of the second Doctor. However, he was always otherworldly with intelligence far beyond the mid-century human, and there were so many other things there. Blah blah blah. Okay. The Doctor is more curious about causing or preventing catastrophe than hooking up with historical figures and figures or aliens. However, the idea that romance is aboard the TARDIS from the start. However, the idea of romance is aboard the TARDIS from the start. It shows up through pairings like Ian and Barbara during the first Doctor's run. Yes. All right. Will you later see attraction between Ben and Polly? Yeah. So what's this got to do with the Doctor being asexual? Okay, whatever. The third and fourth Doctor, again, nothing. They just drop the point. We have human beings there. Yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Ben and Polly, Ian and Barbara. Yes, you're supposed to pair up, and that's normal. You're supposed to be cis. You're supposed to be comfortable in your skin. If you're not, you're doing it wrong, okay? The third and fourth Doctors set the standard for one-on-one Doctor and young female companion pairing, which became even more popular in the new era, well, parts of it. But the third Doctor is a patrician figure, while the fourth Doctor seems entirely oblivious to the opposite sex. For example, speaking to the Countess as City of Death, he famously says, "You're a beautiful woman, probably." Yeah, that was pure Tom Baker. That was pure. Whenever they let Tom Baker off the leash, you got things like that. The young blonde fifth Doctor. Again, we haven't gone through any of how they're different. Whatever. Okay. Of how sexuality would play in the series going forward. The answer was fair and blatant, not applicable. No hanky panky and childers. Fans of the 80s may be familiar with the previous famous phrase, "No hanky panky in the TARDIS." Well, let me see. Am I familiar with this, Councillor Troy? I think you are. Title of this card here means I'm going to zoom in. Not there, even though I really should do. It's no hanky panky in the TARDIS. Yes, I am aware. Are you aware, Perry? Yes, I'm aware too. Oh, there she's going to Councillor Troy. Councillor Troy always wants to get a look in. Can't stop you, baby. Okay, fine. There's no particular reason special relationships with a number of companions in classic era like Jamie. Listen, if there's gonna be a bromance, right? It's Jamie, second Doctor, Joe Nissa, Perry and Ace, but but the question of sexuality never came up within the show itself. Yes, and again, so during the Wilderness years, authorized Doctor Who novels detailed the Time Lord's reproduction, and that was put into a different continuity, as it was done by looms, right? This picture includes a not sexy at all combination of Matrix and looms. Oh, there you go. Breeding chambers where Time Lords are grown, thereby reinforcing the Doctor's ambivalence towards sex. But then they in that continuity, they do say, well, he's very human. He has a belly button, which other Time Lords don't have. But there's that whole story behind that. However, exposure of deep lore of Doctor Who content during this time also features audios of the Eighth Doctor, famously complex romance with Charlie. No romance whatsoever. The character is essentially a precursor and a blueprint for Rose. Not really. Although Survival just goes beautifully into Rose. I think if you want to see a precursor, get the Russ T. Davies New Adventures novel Damaged Goods, and that's a precursor to Rose. They did a audio adaptation of it at Big Finish. It's very good. It's a good crispy bun. The Big Finish audio Cesario always deals entirely with the aftermath of Charlie confessing her love for the Eighth. It highlights the Eighth's reticence and inability to find the feeling. The Eighth Doctor is known as the romantic Doctor, the Byronic hero, but his unwillingness to engage in romance complicates this image. And he's not human, right? And still skirts the issue of sex by exploratory era, set the stage for the show's reboot while still leaving the many questions open. Modern Doctor, sex jokes and demisexuality. Okay, the new series takes on modern soap opera elements, including more overt romantic storylines, which, I'm not sure if I like it or not. Now more I think about it, we had all that nonsense with season 10 of Billy saying, "Quo, I really fancied her because I'm a lesbian, mate." Or like you'll look over and Bill would have a doormat in her mouth, and Capaldi was like, "Bill, what you doing with the welcome mat?" And he's like, "I like to eat carpet," would be Bill. Yes, I understand, darling, I understand. Sexing, alluding jokes, and risque situations are now part of the show. The departure of the previous era, well, it was barely mentioned at all. Okay, fine. Many of the Doctor's romantic relationship with companions are tantalizing, but not quite canon. I wonder what they're going to cite. The show never crossed the lines into exploring explicit sexual relations. The only time the Doctor had a romantic relationship was with Rose, and that was a really unique situation. Given the Doctor's penchant for sticking their nose into anything even remotely exciting, sex still isn't on the list. Again, I can get 2000 and I'll be like, yeah, I'm fine with that, baby. By including more explicit content, this is either incidentally or on purpose highlights reading the Doctor as Ace. No, I think you're reading the Doctor as Ace, okay? I think you're reading yourself again and again. You haven't convinced me that this isn't, mental illness that you should go to a doctor for. The Ninth Doctor loves Rose, but in the aftermath of the Time Lord, he couldn't explore the relationship with her. By the way, in the Ninth Doctor audios, this is how I think that it plays out, right? I think in the episode Rose, I think that's pretty early on in the Ninth Doctor's timeline, right? And at the end of it, he invites Rose into the house. She says no, and he flies off, right? And then a second later comes back and said, "Did I tell you it travels in space, in time as well?" So I put everything in that. I put like hundreds of years or however long it is in that little gap where he disappears for a minute, and he has all these adventures. And I'd like to see the last one that they do, or the big finish one, lead him to go back, like start off with recapping that scene from Rose, like he also has in space, and she says no, and then he has all the adventure, and at the end you find out why he goes back to her, right? That would be really interesting. Time will not explore the relationship. Considering this, it makes sense. It makes sense that he regenerates into a more humanistic, emotional, and sexualized 10th Doctor. 10 is easily the incarnation who is most likely to be seen as all sexual. Read experiencing sexual attraction. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's an outpour. Yeah. That's when they started tying in the circumstance of the regeneration to the next persona. Which, good enough idea. However, his dismissal of sex and romance actually reaffirms his aceness. Again, being ace is great if you're thousands of years old, if you're hundreds of years old and a Time Lord. As a human being, I don't think it's something you want to aspire to, right? I'll give you an example. I'll give you another example. Dogs, generally speaking, have sex with other dogs, right? You don't get asexual dogs. Now, they probably enjoy that. They seem to enjoy it, okay? Just because dogs enjoy having sex with other dogs, you shouldn't have sex with a dog. You probably... See, because the dog is a dog and you're a person. Doctor Who is an alien, and you're same difference. It's a pretty big contrast, say, from human counterparts, John Smith in Human Nature and Family Blood. It's possible that 10 is a variation of demisexual with interest in Rose only, because all these insane terms they've invented. It seems to be because they're scared to ask somebody out, right? It seems to me that's what's going on. And afterward, not feeling that connection with anybody else. Yeah, listen, I think it was a relationship that took him by surprise. 11 especially, I would love to hear Russell D. Davies talk about that. That would be really fascinating. 11 essentially plays into the ideas of the Doctor as a potential boyfriend. He becomes a mythic romantic figure in Amy Pond's life. In one of the early episodes, she attempts to seduce him. An arc with his wife, River Song. River goes into full swing during his era, and the series finale is dedicated to their wedding. Yeah, okay, the wedding River Song. Although through this, 11 seems fairly oblivious to sex and not particularly interested in exploring it. Yeah, because one of the great things about Matt Smith's portrayal of the Doctor is innocence. Joyful innocence, and it was good. That's one of the reasons I love that era, right? Okay. I'm sorry. Listen. I understand you need to grasp at straws. Whoever wrote this to substantiate your strange views. And they are strange views. Your strange views on sexuality and identity. Well, that's what you're doing. You're grasping at straws. Again, substantiate some of this stuff, and I'm happy to hear you out. Whereas Rose's family blown connection with everyone else. Fine, we did the 11. 11 seems fairly oblivious to sex. While receptive to displays of passion, particularly from River, he does. It's always comedic, right? Again, it's always like Indiana Jones with what was it in Temple of Doom. It always seems comedic. He never seeks him out. He does, however, like a good flirt, and his convoluted relationship with Clara is one of the confusing is on the confusing border of not quite boyfriend and girlfriend, and at one point he poses a very convincingly as a boyfriend for Christmas. Well, that convincingly, he walks in naked with clothes projected on him, right? There wasn't that convincingly. 12 admittedly rectifies the situation. Capaldi's doctor is initially abrasive and uncaring with little time for human emotional soul, let alone romance. He quickly establishes a boundary with Clara and sets a scholarly tone with Bill. Again, well, the character has a lot of space in between Clara and Bill. The conclusion of his relationship with River, specifically because she is famed as a romantic partner, reflects a deep feeling of loss. And okay, we're nearly in the article. Hasn't substantiated anything, like anything at all. Another instance of demisexuality. Conversely, 13, oh God, who cares? Wants to cultivate a family outside. She spends time readjusting her to a gender. So, no, she is the trans doctor, right? She's not feminine at all. And she's unaware of Yaz's growing feelings for her. Well, I'm bloody aware of it. The doctor see, this is why I really just don't count the current era, because it's people like this like the current era. It seems to. If you like it, by the way, and you're what I would call a normal person, God bless you. Good luck to you. Dr. Bills to many ace as proof that life can be active, exciting, and fulfilling without sex. Yeah, no. Again, if you're a Time Lord, you are living a handicapped life without having a sexual component to it. Okay, listen. Honestly, I truly believe this because I'm a rabbi. I'm a real rabbi. I'm a Bible thumping believer in the Old Testament. I think if you marry somebody as a virgin, and then spend your life with them, I think the sex is probably better. I think your sexuality is better, and I think you can really experience like greatness in your life by doing that. That's what I think is the best way of doing it. I think the worst way is again. I just think having sexuality in one's life is very important. Right, and that's not just because I'm a horny rabbi. And let's be clear, I am a very horny rabbi. But I also think it's like reasonably normal. I mean, not to be as horny as me, but reasonably normal to have a sex life or have some desire for sex life. I just thought what we're putting on the thumbnail for this. The Nerdist says that Doctor Who proves sex is wrong. Wonder what the picture I'll do with that. I'll work it out as I go. There's still attractive love characters and commanding, along with all the negative traits that come with a three-dimensional character. And listen, I have to tell you, without sex, you can't have children. And now, why is it important to have children? Because children make you into better people, right? When you have to put other human beings ahead of your needs, it makes you into better people. It's a major stepping stone in growing into becoming the best version of you. Without children, it's very hard. I hear, but this is just what I think you need to do. In life, this is why having sex life is important. Also, sex is kind of fun. Sex feels very, very good. I think the reason why, like, from a religious point of view, it because it's so insanely pleasurable, it does bond together people in a relationship. It makes marriages stronger. In my opinion. Fluid identity and queerness are integral parts of Doctor Who. Okay, at no point have you substantiated one word you said. And I came into this wanting to be, trying to be open to being talked around. Integral part of Doctor Who as a show within its central character. No, okay, that's your opinion based on what you want to be true. It's not what's really happening, right? It's just not what's happening. But listen, if you want to read that into it, it's fine. But don't dogmatically tell me that gender fluidity and queerness are integral parts of Doctor Who. As a no, it's not. It's not. It's saying that is integral to you to be part of Doctor Who, which is probably why most Doctor Who fans have said sayonara to this current era, which is, I think, if you go for the technical term, hot garbage. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin. Do you and Rabbi from another planet? Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.